All of my friends had visited Hawkins Peak just a month ago, but not me. Ever since my trip there last summer, I have not been myself. The stories about it are well known, which is one of the reasons we all decided to go before. Now, I am a strong believer in the supernatural, but believe you me, many of my friends aren't. They laugh at me every time I try to tell them how I am feeling about that trip in the past. Ever since then, I just don't know how to explain it. Now, seriously, don't get me wrong. I am not one of those Looney Tune, alien, psycho kind of crazy people. No, that's not me. I am not crazy superstitious, but I do believe in what cannot be explained. And on that note, I guess that is why I decided to take this long drive all alone in the middle of the night to go to Hawkins Peak just to see if my feelings are real. As I got closer to Hawkins Peak, my radio signal began going in and out. I passed it off as being so far from the city, but still, it was strange. That really doesn't make any sense at all, I thought. But at the same time, my radio also went by satellite. So I shook my head and just decided to just shake the strangeness off. I pulled into the empty parking lot slowly, gradually pulling myself out from a long drive in the middle of the night. Of course, I felt already exhausted, but I also felt more unusual than before. It was like someone was watching me. The gravel crunched beneath my feet as I approached the trailhead. My flashlight didn't illuminate much, and it was a really, really dark, ominous night, at least to me. The thickness of the heavy oaks drowned away almost all of it, quite honestly. But as I turned and looked up into the night sky, I could clearly see it was a full moon. I continued entering into the woods, keeping my light aimed at the path in front of me, just so I wouldn't trip over the gnarled roots jutting up out of the ground and reminding me so much of bony hands. They really looked surreal, just like something from a nightmare. Tiny little bony fingers reaching up, just waiting to pull me under the earth. What had ever possessed me to come here? I asked myself aloud. To this day, one of our classmates is still unaccounted for, and it all goes back to our first trip there. I remember she was there 1 minute and just gone the next. That was then, and this is now, I told myself, speaking aloud again, hoping to just break the silence in those woods. This is why I had planned on never coming back. But my friends had started making light of me, spreading mean rumors through the school. I had to show them I was just as brave as any of them. I stopped for just a moment. A crunching of leaves underfoot was directly in behind me. I turned around, shining my light to the right and left. I was met with yellow eyes looking back at me. A coldness pressed around me, making it very hard to breathe. Just when I thought it was all over, a dog, just a dog, darted out of the darkness, running directly for me. I called out in the darkness, worried that maybe his owner was hurt or had simply lost his grip on his dog's leash. But no one answered. The only thing that did call back was the wind, which was picking up fast. In that moment, my only thought was to take the dog and head back to the parking lot, hopefully to find his owner. As I attempted to get up, I noticed one of the gnarled roots in the ground had somehow entangled itself around my foot and was twisted. The dog began to whine and growl softly, shifting his stance. It was like he could sense something too. Sweat trickled down the side of my face, and I noticed my hands were trembling. I reached for my flashlight, but startled the dog in the process. It rolled further away from me, leaving just a small beam of light around the both of us. My thoughts were racing, and my heart was pounding. I still couldn't get my foot free from the tangled root, but now it seemed more of these creepy limbs had sprouted all around me. The dog whined again, backing away further from me, as if he knew something I did not. In that moment, I felt the ground starting to give way beneath me, my weight, and then ghoulish noises filled the black sky. I felt another root wrap around my right hand, and as much as I tried, I could not get loose. It was such a stupid decision that I came back here. "Come here, boy," I called to the dog, but he just paced restlessly. Then, without any reason, he began to bark incessantly, drool seeping out of the corners of his jowls. I could feel myself sinking further, just like being in quicksand. As I continued to sink, I saw the dog turn and run, his tail between his legs. One of my last thoughts, before the unearthly, stick-like hands curled around my face, was, am I going to just vanish away, just like my classmate? Before the fingers curled over my eyes, I saw a skeletal-like face smiling at me as it pulled me below the earth. My screams were all but drowned away by the dirt creeping in my mouth and the hand slowly suffocating me to death.